Yo, what is good, YouTube? We're back with another video. If you guys are not in the free Discord, go join it. It is the first link down below. We're going to be going over the Power of 3 AMD, whichever one you want to call it. They're the same thing. Power of 3 AMD. Over here on the left is what it stands for: accumulation, manipulation, distribution, right? That is what the Power of 3 stands for. Now, the two things that you want to look for are SMT and a higher time frame PD array to make it more high probability, right? Of course, there's going to be those times where we accumulate and then manipulate and then we're going to distribute without an SMT or a higher time frame PD array. But if you want a quick distribution, it will come from an SMT or a higher time frame PD array, right? So right here in this little depiction, we have what a Power of 3 would kind of look like, right? So we have our accumulation in this gray box, we have our manipulation in this red box, right? So right here is what it is going to do. We accumulate, manipulate. What's this doing right here in this red box? It's stopping out everybody that is long, everybody that is long, and it is trapping people to get short, right? Shorting the breakout to the downside. If they were long in here, their stops are going to be underneath these lows. So it stops people that are long, and then in this move higher, it's going to stop people that have gotten short during this breakout, right? So they're shorting the breakout, anticipating a sharp move lower just to get trapped in the distribution up here, right? So this would be your distribution. Wherever the draw on liquidity is, we distribute up to that. Right, so accumulate, manipulate, distribute. Two things to look for are an SMT and a higher time frame PD array. Right, so let's hop into the charts. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 examples lined up. Now, one thing I do want to say though is the recent price action has pretty much just been accumulation. So I haven't really been able to find the best examples. So we're going to go over these examples that I've picked out, right? So we're going to go over 2 15-minute, 1 5-minute, and then 2 1-minute, right? So here we are on the 15-minute chart. Now, excuse me, my favorite Power of 3s lie on the 15-minute chart. Why do they lie on the 15-minute? Because that is going to be your daily Power of 3, right? It will be your daily Power of 3, which in my case, I like trading more than just your little accumulation on the 1 minute manipulate. Like I like trading the 15-minute, right? Because if we look at this 15-minute chart, you can identify very well that we are just accumulating right here, right? So we are just accumulating in this zone right here. So we have all this accumulation, and what happens down here? We manipulate underneath all these lows, right? Now 930 opens up right here. So 930 comes down, drives below a swing low. So this is your stop run inside of a higher time frame Power of 3, right? So this would be your turtle soup inside of a 15-minute AMD model, right? So we have our 15-minute accumulation, manipulation, then we distribute up to these relative equal highs, right? We have pretty much relatively equal, if not perfect equal highs, right? So right there, we have a accumulation, manipulation, distribution, right? Then you can go on your 1 minute, 5-minute chart, whatever you want to do, whatever your preferred entry model is, you can go down to the lower time frames and enter down here, right? I can't go down to the 1 minute, it's too low, right? And then on the 5-minute, it becomes more clear, right? That swing low becomes more identified, right? Then we come up, breaker, then we distribute up to those relative equal highs, right? So we're not going to go over entries, we're just going over how to identify these AMD models, right? So right here, perfect example of an accumulation, manipulation into a distribution. This would become your higher time frame key level, right? This, it looks like a 1 hour, maybe even a 4 hour fair value gap, right? Right here's the 1 hour, now 4 hour, yep, 4 hour fair value gap. Now, what's the higher time frame key level, right? So we have all these 4 hour lows, right? So those can be your higher time frame key level, all these 4 hour lows, right? And then over here clearly would be your higher time frame key level, that 4 hour low right there. Now, let's go down here. 15-minute AMD once again, right? Right here, what do we see? Well, we engineer liquidity, right? We leave relative equal, actually perfect equal lows down here, right? So right here becomes what? Accumulation. Now, up here becomes what? Your manipulation. Now, what do we manipulate into, right? So NQ takes out buy-side liquidity, which becomes your turtle soup. Now, what is the higher time frame key level, though? We form a bearish SMT with the ES at these highs. Bearish SMT, buy-side liquidity taken, 15-minute fair value gap, distribute lower, right? Relative equal lows, perfect equal lows, I should say. And the draw, we have a bunch of lows down through here. So accumulation, manipulation, SMT, distribution lower. Boom. Nice AMD model right here, right? And you could even call all of this accumulation, and then we SMT that high, which would be your manipulation, right? Distribute lower, then you can definitely find a 1 minute entry somewhere up here, right? Just have your bias in check. Now, 5 minute, excuse me, 5 minute, right? This doesn't look as clean on the 15-minute, so we're on the 5 minute, right? But 5 minute, all of this would be what? Accumulation, right? We're not expanding anywhere, right? We have a high, we take the high, we come straight back into the range, right? Accumulate, 930 still has yet to open up, so we really don't expect a large expansion quite yet. Boom. Right down through here is your manipulation, right? Accumulate, manipulate. Let's move this box over. Manipulate, distribute higher, right? Then you might think, well, this wick would have took me out, right? That's why you don't always want to enter on the 1 minute. I don't enter on the 1 minute if it's a fair value gap or anything. I turtle soup on the 1 minute, but if I miss the turtle soup, I'll look at the 5 minute, right? High probability order block, right? Up close candle, down close candle. If we close above this candle, it becomes your order block. 10 a.m. pierces into this order block. We distribute higher, right? Boom. Now, what's the higher time frame key level, right? Do we oh no, we don't have an SMT there, but we do have an SMT with these lows. So this low does not need to be taken, right? Now, if we want to go look at it on the ES, right? Right here is this same low. Okay, sorry. We have an SMT somewhere up here with a low, right? And then where? We have an SMT right here, right? So we already have an SMT with this low, so this low doesn't need to be taken. Over here on the ES, right here is the same low as the NQ. ES never took it, so we don't need to continue lower, right? So SMT, higher time frame key level, is your SMT. Accumulation, manipulate, order block, boom, comes down, taps it, we rip higher up to these, all these highs up through here, right? So if you would have grabbed an entry on there and then targeted the accumulation high and then these highs up here, boom, check, check, right? So the next example, what am I looking at? 1 minute time frame. Oh, right here. All right, what do we have up through here, right? So check this out, right? 8:30. You can tell that that is a news candle, right? We come up, we come down. So we have an obvious draw on liquidity, right? So we come down, we take the wick low, and then we start accumulating, right? So we start accumulating. We don't need an SMT. I am not sure if we did SMT it, but we have an obvious draw on liquidity, which is our news data high, right? So this high up here is our obvious draw. We come down, we take out the sell side of this accumulation, right? This becomes manipulation, and then we distribute, like I said, like this is really choppy, right? But this is an obvious AMD model, right? accumulate, manipulate into that sell side level, and then we distribute up to that news data high, which would be our obvious draw on liquidity. It's just really hard recently because we've been getting this price action waiting for elections, right? So that's why I struggled with trying to find these 1 minute AMD models recently, because I can only go back so far on the 1 minute. But I found this one right here, which is, it just pops out at you, right? Accumulate, manipulate, distribute to the news data high. Now, the last example right here, right? Straight up move, right? So this is the 2 minute chart. I couldn't go back on the 1 minute, but I traded this and I just love this example, right? So we're going to need to rebalance some of this, and we also have these lows right here. So we have these lows throughout here. They're relatively equal, so we're probably going to want to take them. We come straight up, right? And if we want to look, we have those are all the drawings. We have this 4-hour fair value gap, right? Now, right here is your AMD, right? So think we're on the 2 minute time frame. So these candles on the 1 minute would be split up even more, right? So it'd be double the candles. So think about that right here, right? There's double the candles in this accumulation, right? You can tell on the 2 minute that it is accumulating, but think about it on the 1 minute chart. We will be accumulating even more, right? So I don't know if you can picture that in your head, but I mean, I can, so you should be able to, right? So this becomes accumulation right here on the 1 minute time frame. Even on the 2 minute, you can see it, but it would become more clear on the 1 minute chart, right? But I can't go down that far, so you're gonna have to deal with it. Now, what's the higher time frame key level? 4-hour fair value gap. If you weren't confident enough in that, SMT, right? We formed an SMT right here with the ES. So this becomes what? Manipulation, right? Right before market opens, it's 9:16. What does market open do? We start pushing straight towards the draw, right? Order block right here, fair value gap, respected. This becomes your OB, right? So right here, think on the 1 minute time frame. Just picture this having double the candles with accumulation right there, right? That becomes more clear, right? So right here, accumulate, manipulate, SMT, 4-hour fair value gap, market opens, push straight towards the draw on liquidity, right? Boom, slapped it out, right? So AMD is very simple, and it is a very good tool to use. If you struggle with finding it, come into the Discord, right? It's very simple in my opinion, but if you struggle with spotting it, just come into the Discord, ask some questions, and I'll answer. So I'm gonna get out of here. Hope you enjoyed the video. So peace. Oops, meant to go over here.